We're now live on Instagram. We're waiting for people to come in. I'm not starting with just 10 people. Let's see. Instagram is telling people that we're starting just now. Welcome. Welcome. Tell me the university that you are in so that we can welcome you by university. Tell me where you're at. Is UCT in the house? UCT, are you here? UWC, Stellenbosch, CPUT. We're starting at home. We need to make sure that people at home are here. Polka dot, I can see you. Look at my tie. Polka dot. Sporting polka dot today. Tell me which university you're from so that as we start with the welcome. Welcome. Yes, thank you for acknowledging the purple hair. The purple hair. The hair went purple yesterday. TUT in the house. Welcome TUT. They were from CUT. Welcome from UCT. Welcome. UNISA is in the house. UNISA in the house. VETS in the house. University of VETS is in the house. University of Namibia. Welcome. CUT. Good to see you. CUT in the house. Namibia University of Technology. Namibia University of Science and Technology is in the house. Welcome. Welcome. Northwest University. We can see you. Welcome. Let's see, UJ from Namibia. UJ in Namibia always joins us. We're really happy to see you. University of Malawi. It's the first time today we're having University of Malawi in the house. Welcome, University of Malawi. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you for recognizing the purple hair. Thank you, thank you. It's the season to get experimental with the hair. University of Mpumalanga. Welcome, welcome. UMP, welcome. And we have a mathematics teacher from Beijing Bilingual School. Welcome. All the way from China in Beijing. TUT in the house. Boston Media House in the house. Welcome. Northwest University. Universiteit van Pretoria is also in the house. Makerere University. Good to see you. UWC, UFS in the house. Fort Hare University is also in the house. UNAM, University of Namibia. We love seeing people from Universiteit van Pretoria. Welcome, VETSIS, welcome, UKZN, welcome. Today, we're going to be talking to Professor Hope Magidimisha from University of KwaZulu-Natal. Tell everyone at UKZN they've got to log in to see the amazing Professor Magidimisha today. We're going to be talking with her. VETS team is here. Welcome, welcome, welcome. UCT in the house. I feel safe. UCT is in the house. Welcome, welcome. CPUT, VUT. I think I'm seeing VUT for the first time today. Welcome. UJ, Mike Ngobo. I can see you. I can see you, Mike, on Facebook. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for joining us. Kyan Den joined. I'm waiting for Strauss from Cyprus to join us from near whatever university in Cyprus to join us. UCT in the house, UCT in the house, UCT in the house, CPUT in the house, UJ in the house, VUT in the house, University of Mpumalanga, welcome, welcome, welcome. University of Malawi is here, Mavuti is here. Mavuti is VUT, Bazaran. VUT is Mavuti. TUT, CUT, welcome. The entire Free State is here. Welcome, vets. Welcome, welcome. We also have people from Namibia, Makerere, University of Malawi. You are welcome. We also have people from from a university in Malaysia. TUT Arts and Design are here. UP is here in big numbers. UCT GSB is in the house as well. Okay, let's see how many people we have. We need 100 people on Instagram to start. I'm not starting. I can see we've got 50 people on Facebook, 65 people on Twitter. We just need 100 people on Instagram, and then we'll be starting just now. University of Ghana, Legon. Good to see you. Good to see you. University of Ghana, Legon, and Center for Theatre, Dance and Performance at UCT, Performance Studies at UCT. Welcome. Welcome, Rhodes University. I was wondering where's Rhodes? Rhodes is here, guys. Rhodes is in the house. It's not just UJ, CUT, VUT, Mavuta. Abu Dhabi. There are people from Abu Dhabi also joining us. UWC is always in the house. We appreciate your collegiality and support. Thank you very much. Okay, we're starting now. We've got all the people in the house. Welcome. Today, we're talking about publishing academic books and edited volumes. I think every young academic dreams of having their name on a book. You keep thinking one day you're going to have your name in a book, and it's something that you wait for, and it's sad when you don't see it. All right, we want to talk about publishing in academic books and journals today, so that every one of you knows that actually you can do this. We're having a problem on Twitter. It just ended my broadcast. So we're just going to start again. We're just going to start the broadcast again, because somehow it gets. Let's see. We're gonna do that. Right. Let's go live on Twitter as well. There we go. Apologies, Facebookers. We're gonna start this. We're going live. Right, let's see. Good. I'm starting again. So we're talking about publishing books and book chapters, edited volumes, and we decided today to do this through looking at the journey of one academic, and has deliberately selected a young academic. Hope Magidimisa is a professor at University of KwaZulu-Natal. She's in the Department of Town and Regional Planning. So we're going to be talking with her about her journey, how she makes the choices, when to publish a book, when to publish an edited volume. And if you don't know the difference, we will talk about that now. So we're going to be talking to Hope soon. But I thought I should start with questions that we have received. Because some of these questions, one of these questions that I want to start with is actually very, very key, right? So the question comes from Mashoto. Mashoto says, I completed my master's a year ago and haven't published as yet. So I'm wondering, is there a timeline or time limit as to when one should publish after completing their studies? Does the work lose its value if it stays unpublished for too long? I have also realized that on some publications, they state that one's work shouldn't already be on online platform for it to be published in their journals. However, as a graduate, our work gets published on our university website. How then does one publish if their dissertation has already been published on such a platform? All right, so I want to answer the first question first. I think she's asking very important questions. So here's the thing. If you are doing your master's or your PhD, when you complete, if you spend time, when you have completed your thesis, it's passed. The longer you stay with it without publishing it, the more outdated it gets. So the work keeps growing, okay? Because people are not waiting for you to publish your book before they write other stuff growing from that. So what would work for you is within those 2 years or 3 years, publish the work. Even if you publish it within 2-3 years or within 5 years, there is no doubt that you will need to look at work that happened after you completed. Because remember that when you do your thesis, your work is only up to date in terms of at that time, where things are at that time, okay? So as the longer you stay, people keep doing research, publishing, and you cannot pretend you didn't see that work. So for a thesis, of course, you will, once you submit, that's it. Whatever comes afterwards, it was published after you passed. But for your book, and for your book to be relevant, you want to show awareness of the work that came even after your thesis has been published. So Machoto, I'm afraid the longer you wait, publishing your master's or your PhD, the more difficult it becomes. It's not that it's impossible. It is not impossible. You can still publish the book, but what it means is that you will need to do a bit of work to catch up on the work, on the publications that have. I mean, here's the thing. If you are working in the area, you are probably already catching up anyway because you are writing other work, journal articles, and so on and so forth. But if you're not, then writing the book will be an opportunity to catch up. And then Mashuto is asking another important question about publishing work that is already online. Okay, because journals, publishers do not want a work that is already online, and universities put university work, publish our thesis online. I mean, the rules of universities differ, all right? You need to work with your university. You can ask the university to put an embargo on your thesis and not put it online. Maybe if you're planning to publish a book or whatever from your thesis, you can write to, I don't know, in your university, whether you have a doctoral degrees board or a higher degrees committee. You may want to write to them to ask them not to put it online because you want to publish the work as a book. Sometimes universities, students have to ask that anyway because of the sensitivity of the data. They have to ask that the university doesn't put the work online. But of course, there's also differences in terms of open access policies of universities. So go onto your university website and check the open access policy, okay, as to how what are the guidelines for open access publishing, so that you work according to those guidelines. If you need to ask for permission, you do that quicker. If you don't, then you know. Because on the open access policy, and also look at the other policy that you need to be looking at is your intellectual property policy of your university, okay? Because for example, we at UCT, we assign the copyright of the thesis to the students, okay? We don't keep the copyright of the thesis. So even if you've given us the thesis, we publish it online, it is still copyrighted to the students. But I know that some universities do not do that. They keep the copyright, and therefore it may make it a little tricky for you. So check your open access policy, check your intellectual property policy, so that you are sure that if your work goes online, what does it mean for you? Can you still publish? Who owns the copyright, and so on. But here's the thing, even after all of that and your work is online, if you are going to write a journal article or a book from it, you are going to need to acknowledge or even start the work. Hopefully you won't be lifting, because things have changed, you know. Hopefully you won't just be lifting a chapter as it is. Then you can refer to the work. And it might even be better to own up front that this work that you're writing about emerged from your thesis, and the thesis is published in this particular, it can be accessed here, and in this paper you're doing this, that. So just be explicit so that people don't think they have got you if they see some similarity. All right. So I'm going to now invite Professor Hope Magidimisa. But I also saw that Stellenbosch is in the house. Welcome. I didn't find an opportunity to welcome you because you were not there when we were doing the welcome. I saw Strauss is here from Cyprus. Strauss, welcome. And all the other people that have joined us, welcome. We're going to invite Professor Hope Magidimisa. Hope, come onto the Instagram so that I can invite you. Now, the part of the stuff that we're going to be talking to Hope about is that, you know, we always tell you the real story. We don't like lying to people here. We're going to tell you the real story. We're not going to sanitize it for you. Now, we're going to tell you the good, the bad, and the ugly. Now, the ugly sounds like the general stuff. There are publishers who are looking for people, unsuspecting people like you, who have ideas and so on and so forth, and they will write to you and say they want to publish your work. They are so sneaky, these people. It's as if they go online and they check, even if you have just written a paper, right? You've just written a paper, they write to you and they'll say, we want to publish, we saw that you wrote a paper on this, and we want to publish this paper as a book, all right? And you were just publishing a paper. Hope, I can see that you are using your laptop. I'm going to ask you to get onto your device, either a phone or a tablet, because I can't get you online. So please get on your phone or a tablet and then join us live so that I can be able to call you in. In the meantime, let me tell you, whilst we're waiting for Professor Hope to get her technology right. The scams, okay? It's a pity I can't tell you names, but I know the names of the publishing houses that send all these emails. They don't even think they send to you only, they send to me also. They'll take a paper, maybe I presented at a conference or a journal article, whatever, and then they say, we want to, we saw that you're doing work in this area, you are an expert, we want you to write, to help you write a book, publish a book in this area. And because you are a young academic or you are a student, you get so excited because you don't know, right? Because you don't know. And then you say yes. And then what happens? They say, send us your work. They take your work, they do no editing at all. You send them your whole thesis, they take it, they put it in between covers. They write the title that you want, voila, they send you the book, you have a copy of the book, you are busy boasting, hey, my book. You are happy, right? It's got lots of errors, it wasn't reviewed, and then you just sit there. As soon as your eyes get open, you realize, whoa, I made a mistake. We'll talk about how to handle the mistake, but you realize you've made a mistake. They then go on to sell the book because they didn't charge you they don't charge you for publishing your book. They just publish it and you are happy, you think you've got a good deal, you think you are an expert now because you have a book. But actually, it is a scam, right? It is a scam, and they know that many people, particularly here on this continent, people are looking so much for affirmation that they will take whatever comes. Hope, I'm struggling to get you online, my sister. Please get an iPad or a phone, because you cannot join. You are live. I can see you, Hope. I can see you there, right? You are live. I can see you, and I can see your comments. But what we are not able to do, Hope, is to get you into the live, into a video session with me. For me to be able to do that, you need to have a device. We cannot do that on the laptop. So please get a phone. If your device is not working, check another one. I don't know what's going on today. And you should also be able to ask me to welcome you in. Otherwise, I'm gonna ask other people I'm gonna have to just have. You see, today I went with confidence. I thought we will not have this problem. So we didn't do a sound check with Hope. And I didn't invite two people, I only invited her. And I thought it's going to work because we've done it before. But let's keep trying. So, the point that I'm making is that you might get duped because you think, because you're an expert, they want to publish your work. And then, once you give them your work, it is gone. Because when they have published that book that way, it's almost like now you can't publish that work again into a book. So don't get excited by people calling you an expert. You know when you're a beginner. Let me tell you, you don't have to tell anybody, So don't get fooled when people say, we want to publish your book and we saw this paper, you are great, and so on and so forth. Look at it and make a decision, a wise decision. Here's the thing, I've said to you before that your work, your research work is your treasure. That's your gold. That's your power. So if you publish a book into in an avenue like that, with publishers like those who are dodgy, who just want to make money out of you, you not only are you are missing out an opportunity. You are missing out an opportunity because in that book, there's so many chapters that you could have written as journal articles. Now they are there as a book. So don't be fooled by them. Now, what do you do then? By the way, when I say they're making money out of you, it's not that they're going to charge you. They don't charge you. They take that book that they published, they send you one copy or whatever many copies. They go on to sell those copies. They don't talk to you about how many they have sold. They don't give you anything because you didn't sign any contract with them. This is not a deal. They told you, we want to do this for you. You said yes because you were excited. They did this for you and that's it. Finish. So, if you like, and I wanted Hope to talk to us about that as a young academic who also gets those responses and she has had to make decisions, right? Now, what do you do if you find that you have fallen into a trap like that? It can happen as a young, unsuspecting student or academic. If you find that you have sent your book and that's what happened, this is where it is, you regard it as a loss, right? You regard it as a loss, and what you do is you remove it from your CV. You can write a story about it, about the experience. Write a story about the experience. Remove it from your CV. And here's the reason why I'm advising that you remove it from your CV. Is because anyone who sees it on your CV will think that you are a cheat yourself. They will not assume that. They will assume that you are playing the game as well. So don't play the game. Remove it from your CV so that when you apply for jobs, let me clue you in. Here's the other thing that they will not tell you, right? I can tell you, I've sat on many selection committees in many different universities, some of which I have never worked in, and they would call me to sit on selection committees or to advise them. Let me tell you, if you publish these kinds of, with these publishers, when you apply for a job, people in the selection committee find that kind of publication on your CV. They already do question marks about you, not about the publisher, but about you, because the assumption is, and you might have, by the way, you might have other good publications, and then you have this dodgy one that you did with this dodgy publishing house, right? Now, even if I sit there and say, but guys, look, he's also published in this journal, with this publisher, he's also published a book with this publisher, and so on and so forth. He's legit, and so on and so on. People in the selection committee say, but doesn't he know that this is dodgy? Why is he including this? Do you see what I mean? So you want to remove it from your CV. Of course, even if you remove from your CV, it is possible that someone might get it online. If they get it online and they ask you about it at the interview, they find the book online that was published through a dodgy publishing house that doesn't do review, the book has got mistakes, and so on and so forth. If they get it online and they ask you in the interview and they say you are publishing in dodgy publishing houses, or they call it Predate or whatever they call it, you own up. You don't become defensive and say it's scholarship, whatever you say. I didn't know that they were a dodgy publishing house. I learned later, and that's the reason why I didn't include it on the CV. Okay? You just own up. Basically, it's like you had thieves who came to steal your work. They got you, you learn, and you move on. You don't get stuck there and say, because it's my work, then I'm still gonna write it. No. You don't do that. Hope, your camera is closed, so you're gonna have to open the view of your camera and make it face to you. Now I can see your screen of the computer and not you. I can see your keyboard now, Hope. Now I lost you. You left. Come back, Hope. So I'm cluing you in, right? I'm cluing you in terms of what if you make the mistake, okay? I'm saying to you, don't make the mistake. Publish with reputable publishing houses. There are reputable publishing houses that are known that you can publish with, right? If you make a mistake and go into these dodgy ones, then take it like thieves came into your academic house, they ransacked, they ran away with some of your stuff. It's a loss. Just accept it's a loss. Stop fighting you. Someone wrote here, can you take legal action? You can't. These people have been around for years. They've made a lot of money. Even if you took legal action, they will win because they didn't force you. They didn't force you. They wrote to you.
and they said, we want to publish your work. You said yes, and you went, you sent them your work. They didn't steal it, you gave it to them. You only woke up late. And when you woke up late, you said, you realized that it's gone, right? So it's gone, it's gone. You will not win the case. It doesn't matter how the top lawyer you have. You will not win it. You can't win it on ignorance. When you claim to be a researcher with a master's degree, you've got a whatever. So that's why I say take it as a loss. And then don't put it in your CV. Because if you put it in your CV, you are still admitting ignorance and you are still trying to be defensive. Because, like it or not, it will be used against you. If people raise it, own up that you made a mistake you didn't know and say to them, this is the reason why I don't include it in my CV. If you're applying for an NRF rating, you don't include it. You don't include papers that you published in dodgy journals. You don't include books in dodgy publishing houses. Great. Hope, good to see you.
Thank you, Prof.
Welcome.
How are you?
Well, I'm very well, very well, very well. I'm glad we got you and we still have 35 minutes. Okay. Welcome. So, Hope, I really wanted us to have a conversation because you are amazing. You're super inspirational. No, seriously, you're super inspirational. And I love your authenticity. You know, a girl from Limpopo, you killed it, you are here at KZN, you're doing it, right? You're such a chair. And I want you to help our young people out here when it comes to publishing. I want you to take us on your journey. And I know that you've had an experience with these dodgy publishers. We're not going to mention their names. And I've just talked about them. And I want you to say something about just that's what level were you when you had an encounter with the dodgy publishers?
So I had just finished my undergrad studies. And I received a very good emails and positioning me as an expert. And I got excited, and they were telling me they can publish my work and I must send my work to them. And I didn't do any research or anything. At that time, I was just, okay, someone wants to publish my work, why not? And of course, I sent it through. Within a week, my work was ready and published. And I was very excited about it.
Imagine within a week.
Yes.
A week.
No editing, no reviewing, nothing. And I was excited because they were not charging me money. So because I had heard that there are these stories where they're charging a lot of money for publishing. So if someone wants to do it for free, I mean, I have nothing to lose. And only to realize that all my hard work.
You have a lot to lose. You have a lot to lose. Not money.
Exactly. And actually, I realize now that I've taken a lot of my work to this publishers, this publishing house not recognized by the universities or even any other institution for that matter. So every time when I put in my CV, I can't put that. I cannot put that publication because it's not accredited. So it's very easy to publish with them, but the quality of work is not good at all. And it's very fast. The turnaround is very fast.
And that's the thing that we were warning them, even with journals, that don't get excited by people who do quick work and you get excited that it's because you're great. No. It's because they are dodgy themselves, you know?
Exactly.
So and you were lucky, Hope, that they got you with your undergrad work. That you did a 4-year degree, right? So it was your final case they got you there.
Yeah.
They get you with a PhD. Some people, I know a student of mine who they got with a master's degree. With a master's degree. He didn't ask me, he went for it, and they got him. Very bright student. So it can get you, and you get excited, right? So a good thing is not to put it in your CV. But then tell us about moving forward. You have published co-authored books. You have a book on your own, right?
No, most of my books, I've got edited books. I've got authored book with me and my husband. I didn't say that. So, but that's authored book. And most of them, 2 of them, they are authored and the other one is edited. And I'm actually working on the 2 more, which are, the other one is authored, sole authored, the other one is edited. Yeah.
So how do you decide then whether you want to write a book or to take the work to journals, because you can write many journal papers
Yes.
or books. How do you decide?
Yeah, you see, it's a very interesting decision because you need to have a story to tell, and that story must be very long, right?
Yeah.
If you are going for a book, so if you got a very long story to tell, then you can go for a book, because there are a lot of consideration you have to consider when you are going for a book. If you are going for a book, you are obviously, I mean, if you're talking about journal article, I can produce so many journal articles, but sometimes ideas are better when they're coming one after another. So when you arrange your ideas, how you have done it, you take them through your methodology, you take them through your findings, you take them through your recommendation and the model you want to introduce. So you've got a better story to tell. But if you just want to tell them just one aspect of your work, then you can go for general articles. But for me, I've got a lot of stories to tell, and the best way to tell them is when I tell them through a book, a long story. Yeah, of course, I also go for journals. I've got quite a number of journal articles I've published.
Yeah, and here's the thing. I mean, another thing that students and young academics should know is that the book has got a long shelf life.
Yes.
All right. A journal article, it's fantastic and it gets you quick. It's quicker. I'm saying quicker, but it could be a year. A book might take longer to produce, but the journal articles shelf life, not many journal articles have a longer shelf. Some journal articles last forever, like everyone keeps going over and over to the journal. Now people are saying they want to see you hope. So I'm gonna try to do this and see if they can see you. People the Twitter people are saying they want to see you. So a book has got a longer shelf life than a journal, and that's why sometimes you might make a decision to publish a book rather than a journal article. All right. Even though a journal article might be prestigious because of the journal, standing and so on and so forth. So when you decide, think about it carefully about whether you want a longer life. And Hope has given you another reason. There's someone here who said, I will keep taking questions, Hope. This person says, what are the implications of giving your work to dodgy publishers? We've already talked about that, that you lose it and you can't do anything about it. And it might even be online as well. Hope, now you've told us how you decide, why you decide to go onto a book, because you want to tell a story, and sometimes it's a chronology of the work, so that you take people through your methodology. They don't just see the findings, but they can see the nitty-gritty until you get to the end. When you published your first book, was it from your thesis?
No, so it was not from my thesis. The first thing, what happened is that we wanted to do a project with some of my colleagues who wanted to come up with a project. Then we write a proposal for a grant so we can get grant for the project. And what we decided to do out of that project, we decided let's have edited book. So we then come up with different colleagues who were writing on different aspects within the same field of study. We were looking at the migration and obviously in planning. Then different people, they started contributing. So in fact, the edited one, which I'm talking about, was more from colleagues who are writing on the same line of thoughts. And of course, some colleagues who were working within the project. So I then decided to go and look for the contract, and it was very good. I was very excited. I was the first editor at the time. I was excited to get a contract with Springer, and that's when we started publishing. So from there, it just become like an edit. Like I feel like I owe everyone a book every single year because it's so exciting. Painful when you're doing it, but when it's out there, it's got such a good feeling.
Okay, so when you edit, when you edit a volume, I mean, the first one was a co-authored book.
Yeah.
With 2 people. How many people were there?
2.
Show us the cover.
Yes.
Do you have it there? Do you have it there, your book?
Oh no, they're online.
Don't
okay,
worry. No problem. And then you, I mean, of course, when you're writing a book with someone else, it's great. I mean, I have a story of writing a book with someone else who I contributed work into the book, and just before we published, we had signed and sealed everything, and allegations of plagiarism of the book, the parts that he had written, came up. And it was such a tricky, intricate story because the person used to write for Wikipedia. You know, on Wikipedia you write whatever. So he put stuff on Wikipedia. And he just assumed that because he put them on Wikipedia himself, they are his. But actually the fine print is once you put them on Wikipedia, you don't own that knowledge anymore. Wikipedia. You must cite Wikipedia. So he then kept using this thing in the book. So this popped up on the net. And I was like, wow. When I got it, I wrote to the publisher and I said to the publisher, I cannot continue. I wrote to him and I said, I can't continue with this. My chapters are clean, but people are complaining about your chapters that have been plagiarized. And I said, take my name off. And I said, you can have my work. I'd rather lose my work because the publisher we had signed, the publisher wanted to hold us accountable. I said, you can have my work, just remove my name. Because if you want to hold me accountable that I promised to produce the chapters, then have the chapters for free. And I got out of it. So when you're co-authoring, there's a trickiness about that because some people bring their work, you bring yours, and their work, you also have to. Did you have to check whether their work has been, it's above board or not?
Of course, Prof. You have to do that. You just cannot put your name on something you don't understand yourself. So if I'm not sure this is original, and after I've done my Turnitin and after reading around, I'm not comfortable with that, I'll make that very clear. So what I normally do, especially with the edited books are the most tricky ones. Because remember, over and above managing people who are contributing chapters, you also have to manage the content itself. And remember, we have to take this to the reviewers because they have to be reviewed. So, of course, you do have to check whether that is not plagiarized or copy and paste from somewhere else, which means you have to understand the subject yourself. And that's why I always say that if you're writing a book, don't write something on the subject you're not familiar with, because people, they can just bring any information. So you need to write about something you're familiar with, something you're passionate about, because when you're passionate about something, you're able to read about it often, and you understand, you are most likely to understand who's talking about what. And I did have two chapters, I must say, in one of my edited volume, where I didn't accept those chapters because for the same reason you're talking about. I wasn't convinced that this is original work, and I felt like there was a lot of copy and pasting, not referencing, and all those kind of stuff. So what I decided, I just pulled it out from the book, and I didn't include those chapters in the book. So that is very important. You have to be above board on that. Yeah.
So this is a tip for all of you young academics, right? If you're going to write a book with somebody, it's not only about you. So sometimes the arrangements are different because the book may be co-authored. Sometimes it means one wrote to have the chapters, the other one wrote to have the chapters. Sometimes it's that you write each chapter together.
Yes.
As Hope says, you have to pay attention to all the ethical issues, because if things go wrong with that book where you are co-author, then you are implicated. Hey, we learn these things late. You are implicated. The people don't care anymore. They just think you knew what was going on, right? That's why in our case, I had written the chapters towards the end, he had written chapters in the end, and I decided I see someone on Instagram says slice at Oti. I just had to slice at Oti because it's better to lose that, lose your whole reputation. Now, Hope says it's even more tricky when you are editing when you are editor of a volume. Okay, so a volume, by the way, a book, an academic book, is one book written by an author or a team of authors. They wrote the whole book. An edited volume is a collection of chapters from different people, right? Collection of chapters from different people. When you are the editor of the volume, you are in charge, you manage the people, each one of them must deliver, but as Hope says, you also manage the content. You have to make sure that the content is above board, because at the end of the day, you are the editor. So you as the editor have to look and hope. That's why she says they had to decline some of the chapters. Someone is asking a question here, and they say, it's TK, says, could you please say a little bit about pitching an idea for an edited book to a publisher? How did you do that, Hope?
Oh, that's very interesting. I just finished the other one 2 weeks ago. So what you do is that you identify a theme, right? Should I say a field of study where you want to write that book about. So of course, if you are talking about planning, I can pick it from different areas. So you define, you look at the broader picture and you check around what people are writing about, and you look for a gap. You don't write about what people are writing about. So you look for a gap, because you must understand, editors or publishers for that matter, they are more interested in something which will also be interesting to the readers. If there's something similar to that, they won't be interested. So the way you want to pitch your ideas, and this goes for both books, by the way, whether edited or not, you have to make sure that your ideas are very interesting and you are taking it from different angles. So which means you also have to go out and demonstrate to your prospective publishers to say, this is what I want to write about, and this is what is out there. The moment you say that, you know that they actually know what you're talking about. So you've done your research, you are telling them what is there, and how is this, your one, going to be different from the rest? Why should we give you a contract? Because you must understand they're spending money here and time and resources. So you need to make sure that when you are pitching your new ideas, it has to be closing the gap. And also the audience matters. Who is going to read your book? And also who's contributing in your book matters. So if you cannot come up with the edited book which is written by only junior staff or junior academics, so you have to mix it to show, to show that authenticity of it, to make sure that people they kind of get the gist from different angles, from established researchers and of course upcoming researchers to mix. You must have that mix.
Yeah, I mean, I like what you're saying, Hope. So you've got to, don't just think that it's an idea of the book. You need the authors, get the big names also, because that will also, it gives your book a little bit of status, but it also gets more people to buy it. I see some people are saying get a captive market as well, because you want return on investment. I don't know what your take is, Hope, but my take is that we in academia don't always write books for the money. I mean, I've edited volumes, I've contributed chapters. I don't care whether the book is selling or not. I never even look. Sometimes, once in a while, I get a royalty and I'm surprised. Wow, royalty. But it's none of my business. My business is knowledge, and so I chase the knowledge. I don't know what your take is. I often think my perspectives are old-fashioned because money doesn't move me, but young people tell me it must move me. What about you?
Money has to move all of us, Prof. Otherwise, we're going to have a serious problem. Yeah, but on that note, it's not much about money for yourself as such, but also the publishers. They won't publish something which they think they won't get anything out of it. So if that is a part of their homework, actually, it's their job to worry about. I will worry about whether the content is original. They will tell me whether this content is worth the market. So I don't think as academics we're more concerned about the market as such, but we're more concerned about whether we're closing the gap and contributing your knowledge. Yeah.
That's a good way to put it, that the publisher will not agree to give you the deal to do to edit a volume if they don't think anybody would be interested. So
exactly.
They are worried about return on investment because they invest money in the project. But normally we don't. I've never been in a book project where we sit and say, how much are we going to make? Who should we bring so that we make more money? And then of course I can see Martina on Facebook is asking, should I pay them for their contribution to my book if I'm doing an edited volume? No, you don't pay them. I mean, now you are not paying, Martina. You are not paying, so you don't pay them. If people come to contribute to the book, I mean, as I say, we don't do that for the money. We don't get royalties even. I mean, so if people want to contribute to the book and they think they want to get the money, I think if I were you, I would tell them to publish the book, the thing on their own, because then it means you are getting in trouble. You know, you're trying to do an edited volume. You know, this is not about money. They think you are going to make money, and so they want you to pay them. You've got the wrong book. So it's not. Martina says there are costs to publish the book, Prof. Academic books. That's why we pitch Martina to publishers like Springer, Taylor and Francis, Sage, and so on. We pitch to them. They will accept the proposal because they see that this book will sell and it will cover the cost that they are spending a priori before the book is published. They know that they will make their money. So that's why I've never paid for publishing a book. I don't know about you, Hope.
No, I've not paid even a single cent, including the one I'm talking about when I said that I had my not very good experience. I don't remember paying a cent for any book.
Yeah. Someone is asking, Lisiba on Twitter is asking you, Hope, Prof. Hope, how did you manage to publish at a young age? For some people, it takes long. Did you have a mentor, Hope?
Yeah, so for me, if I tell you about my mentors, they comes in different form and shape and look. So maybe it's a discussion for another day, but I had quite a bit of number of them where when I go to a mentor, the specific things I'm looking for, and when I get it, and I focus on that. So I did have mentors. But I always wanted to be an academic at a very tender age, and I knew what to do to be an academic. I've made a distinction at a very tender age that there are academics who are I call them, this is my terminology by the way, hardcore academics. Those are the ones who are writing or publishing or researching, and the academics who are advocacy, who are out there just talking and not publishing anything. So they will attend every conference, they will attend, everyone will know about them because they are talking everywhere, but they are not producing knowledge in a documented way. So I decided I want to be an academic at a very tender age, but not just an academic who's an advocacy, but an academic who's into writing and also producing knowledge. And this is precisely because I pick up a gap as I was growing up and referencing people. And I realized that I keep referencing same people. And I also want people to start referencing my work. And what do I do? And that's where the passion starts from, to kind of also wanting to contribute on that angle. So that's why I started publishing at a tender age, because I always knew I want to be an academic. And that's what it's an academic, part of what you need to do is to write. And that's what I'm doing.
Yeah. I see someone is outing Professor Marwala, that Professor Marwala has sneaked into the room. He is not the first vice chancellor to sneak into the room. They do sneak into the room. Last week we had Minister Mbalula sneaking into the room.
Sneaking?
They sneak in. We say they're sneaking in because I know them, but they don't say to me, I'll be in your city. So they're sneaking, but we can see them. So someone just said, welcome, Professor Marwala. We are not talking about Professor Marwala, we are talking about the Professor Hope Magidimisha, about her journey. Now, Hope, where sometimes you get invited to write, and sometimes chapters for other people's edited volumes, and sometimes it is you who invite them. Edited volumes are interesting, and it depends on how people manage them. I mean, I've done edited volumes, and I've got a theory about how do you get it done. So someone asked, how do I get the pitch accepted? But I want to ask, once you have your proposal accepted by the publisher, they say yes, we want to publish you. You do that after you have approached the people who you want to write the chapters, or do you approach them after you get the yes from the publisher?
So I do both, actually. So sometimes what I do, I pitch the ideas, then because I have an idea of what I want to write about. So my experience has been that sometimes you identify people in advance. When it comes to deliver, they don't deliver. You got the contract. They need to deliver. So I will never invite you to write about something which I cannot write about myself. Because if you let me down, I need to pull that chapter because I don't want to let down the publishers. So I need to understand the book in detail and what needs to go into the book. So what I do is that I will actually lay down the whole book right? Like what I was saying, I just did 2 weeks ago. I'll lay down the whole book with some, what I call draft abstracts. So basically to say what I want to see on this chapter is this. But at the same time, in my mind, I know someone's writing on those issues, which if I approach that person will come on board. But if they don't come, I can still pull up that chapter, or can get someone to pull up that chapter, because I understand what needs to go into that. Because I had not so nice experience with some authors who agreed to be part of the book, and at the end of the day, they don't bring anything. You're supposed to be submitting a book. So you have to be able to pull out a book on your own, or any chapters, or at least understand what you're writing about, so you are able to direct this. So that is one part of it. Then the other part is if we have something like a seminars. So what I do, I look at the papers, then I'm able to select the abstracts. So of the papers of those people who are submitted, then I'm able to say, okay, I've got these abstracts from different people. Can I have a book contract based on these abstracts? And yeah, then we take it from there. So it depends what I want to achieve at the point in time.
Yeah. So that's 2 strategies. One is where you can cover up and do the chapter. The other one is you take from their work that they presented, perhaps in a seminar. The other strategy that I like using is to have those people that I have invited to write chapters in a workshop. So you can catch them at a conference, and you can have a pre-conference workshop where you're going to workshop the chapter, so that everyone starts writing there, and then they swap. Sometimes it's co-authoring, whatever, but you spend the whole day working on them. Or you call a special workshop of all the people that you have invited to write chapters. You bring them into one space, and you spend the whole day working. You first agree, this chapter will do this, this one will do this, whatever, and then people go into pairs or whatever, they start working on it. Then, in a way, they have a first day where, a whole day where they can have a summary or a structure of the chapter sorted before they go. So, because you as the editor, you might end up with a problem. You have a deal. No paper. So you've got to come with different strategies to get people to write. Other advice about publishing books or chapters. I mean, we talked about journals, we talk about books, we talk about edited volumes, and then there's book chapters. But also there's another way of publishing where I know you don't do that much. I'll talk about it just before I close, where you publish your work in newspapers, okay, like we say as op-eds. We'll talk about the 5th one once I allow Hope to leave. We have 7 minutes to go, Hope. I want to give you another opportunity to share pearls of wisdom about how you decide where to publish, what are the stumbling blocks, what are the things people should look out for, and how can they make it happen.
Oh, okay. Thanks, Prof. I think the first important thing, and I've alluded to it briefly earlier on, is that never write about something you don't understand or you're not passionate about it. Writing a book, even a journal, is not a joke. You get tired in the process, you get exhausted, you lose the momentum, you lose anything. But, you got the contract, you have to deliver on that. So you need to be passionate, you need to be sure of what you want to write about, and stay focused on that. In the process, as you're writing, you will be developing some ideas. As you're developing some ideas on that, then that becomes another book or another journal article. So when you read, and you need to read a lot if you want to write books. You have to read other people's books. So then you understand what is there and what they're doing and how are they approaching it. Because if you just sit down and you just start writing, you'll be surprised by the time you write a conclusion and someone has actually submitted a book like that of the finished. So those are the kind of stuff you need to be aware of. Passion, I always talk about this thing because it's a driver for everything. But write about something you know and something you think you're going to finish. You can't start a book and never finish. If you know you won't finish it, don't start.
Yeah. Great.
And
thank you so much, Hope. I want to let you go, but before I do that, how many books do you have? How many edited volumes?
So I've got 2 edited volumes, and I've got 2 authored books, and I've got 2 more coming. The other one just out now on land reform, and then I've got 2 more coming maybe early next year. Yeah.
Wow. I mean, Hope you're only 35, you're a research chair, you've got 2 other books, you've got edited volumes, you've got everything, and here I'm, and of course I'm your groupie. I mean, you are. I am. I stalk you on Twitter and Facebook. And, I really wish you many, many years of focus, because it is very easy to get derailed. And it is very easy when you're succeeding to get many detractors who will try to drag you out of the way. Just know that even if that happens, you should know that there are many of us who are rooting for you, many of us who believe in you. We know that you can do this. You are a hope, and I'm telling the whole world, right? You are a hope. You are a hope. So keep going. There'll be criticism, there'll be jealous, there'll be detractors. You keep moving. You know, Dr. Mampela once said to me, the dogs in the township only bark at a moving car. If you are stationary, nobody moves. No dog barks. If you are moving, the dog starts barking. So you are moving. So when the dogs start barking, don't be surprised. It's because you are moving. You must know that we are with you. So
I know you've given me a lot of support, and I'm so excited about that. I know I've got you in my back, so when I bend, I know you're there to hold me back. So I'm fine. I'm covered. I'm safe. Thank you so much for all the support.
Thanks, Hope. We'll chat again. Keep well then.
Thanks, Prof. Bye.
Bye-bye. That was Professor Hope Magidimisha. Hope is such an inspiration. Guys, watch this space. Hope is an inspiration of note. I wasn't lying when I say I'm a stalker. I am a stalker. But I want to close this session on publishing today. We talked about publishing journals, and we want to, we told you the good and the bad and the ugly. We talked today about the books, publishing edited volumes, and publishing book chapters. It is your decision, you as the researcher, what you publish where. As you heard, I said my view is that the books have a longer shelf life. If your chapter goes into a book, they also have a longer shelf life. If you can write a book, go for it. There are also disciplines that prefer books. So if you are in the humanities discipline, often in the humanities, it is much better to publish a book than a journal article. So look at your discipline and do that. If you're in the health sciences, it's usually better to publish in a journal, particular kinds of journals, Cell, the Lancet, Nature, those kinds of journals. So you wanna pitch higher. But if you're in humanities, pitch higher with the book, right? It will have a longer shelf life. If you are very organized, you can pull people together, you can get things done, you must go for an edited volume. Okay, I have done more edited volume. I haven't done a sole authored book, academic book, but I have done edited volumes because I can bring people together. We work together on chapters, and then we produce a book from there. So if you can do that, as Hope told you, you need to be able to manage the people themselves and to manage the content. Remember, I told you about the scam. I did try to write a whole manuscript with someone, but it went bad when I realized that there was plagiarizing on their side, and it was too late, and I had to get out of it. So be careful. If you're co-authoring a paper with somebody, or a chapter, or a book, be aware that you cannot say part of it is not your work. You're writing with your friend. If they plagiarize, you are plagiarizing if your name is also on the chapter or the paper. So be careful. You write with someone else, take that whole thing into Turnitin, protect yourself to make sure that you don't get into the wrong side of things. And then the fifth way of publishing is that you can write op-eds. Op-eds are articles that we write to publish in magazines or in newspapers. And oftentimes writing op-eds positions you as a thought leader in that field. You don't have to be very educated to write this or whatever. I mean, I remember the first op-ed I wrote, I had just finished a PhD, and I sent it to City Press. And I remember that I didn't even know that they would publish as an article. I remember the title of the paper was "Mathematics is Easy, but Teaching It is Hard." And I sent it there, and they ended up publishing it. That was my first publication in the newspaper. I was publishing in journals and whatever, and I wrote about that because I was feeling passionate about the issues and I wanted to put them out there, being a mathematics education researcher myself. So think about how you want to be known as a thought leader for, and then you can write for that in the newspapers. I'm sure if you've been following me, you know that in August, every week I had an op-ed in the Sunday paper or in the Mail and Guardian. I had op-eds with the women, Professor Lindiwe Zungu, who's the CEO at UNISA. I had an op-ed with Professor Sekwe at Sefako Makhatu University, and also with Professor Loretta Ferris here at UCT. And those op-eds focused on different things. One focused on gender-based violence, and others focused on leadership, and others on women leadership, particularly because it was the month of August. So feel free, if depending on where you want to be thought leadership, you give thought leadership. So remember though, that if you publish in the newspaper, you will not get a credit in the university or by the government or whatever. So you must do these things because you believe in them, not because you want somebody to give you some brownie points. You know, you must be the kind of academic that you do things because you believe in them. And if people give you brownie points for them, hallelujah. If they don't, that's not your problem. You are doing what you believe in. So you want to be a thought leader, you want to do this, do it, right? You don't neglect your journal publications, your book publications, and your book chapters. You still do that, but once in a while you can do an op-ed. So this is the end of our session today, and I want next week to talk about teaching at university. We often don't talk about teaching at university. Remember that in this series, I'm talking about developing a successful career as an academic, right? So we're going to talk about teaching and learning at university. It is very important. But I want to talk to people who are expert teachers at university. How do they think about their teaching? How do they make sure that, how do they treat students? Is it like high school? Is it whatever? We're going to be talking about that. So if you want to be a super duper academic, make sure that you join us. I know that for me, what made my career successful was that I'm passionate about teaching. I'm a teacher at heart. I mean, definitely. I love my research, and I really, really am passionate about development. And those three things, when they came together, they produce a successful career in academia. So thank you very much for joining us. I hope the sound was good. Thank you very much, all of you, the comments from Cyprus, from Malawi, Namibia, Uganda, and everywhere else in the world. It's really been a pleasure to have you. We'll see you again next week. Peace out.